Yeah, hello, and welcome back to the grind. I'm out here with the Porsche 924, and this week was, I think there was some alignment stuff happened, getting that sorted out because the new, um, what do you call those, lower control arms came, so I put them on, and they're on there. And then I did the alignment again, and it seems to be pretty good. It's not perfect. This side of the car is still not right. I did a bunch of measurements underneath the car to see where see if it was out of square, and it seems to be square. But I've found on in my book there's a bunch of places where I can check what the measurements should be, and I'll do that one of these days soon. Otherwise, we did. I did some lots of time spent on the warm-up regulator again. But you see, I've got the pressure regulators gone. The pressure thing there is gone now, and I'm fairly happy that the warm-up regulator works as advertised. So we'll just let that be, and hopefully things will go well. I think it's running okay, and we'll be happy with it. So anyway, that's stick around, see what's happening. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and enjoy it. See you later. Bye for now. Yeah, well, hi, welcome back again. And so, yes, I am back on the Porsche 924. And I said I wouldn't bore you anymore with this stuff. So I did take that all apart, cleaned it out with I've got a little tiny wire brush that goes on my Dremel, cleaned it out, and it seems to be, it's up to temperature now, it seems to be holding steady at 3.8. And I just sort of guessed at where the depth of that plug should be. It should be right about there. Anyway, I'll just live with that for a while, I think. And it's been running for 10 minutes, so that the fan's running, temperature gauge is high. Temperature gauge is, right where it's supposed to be, in there. Oil pressure's right where it's supposed to be, in there. So we'll just let it run for a while, and then I'll see. If it gives me any more trouble, there's an electronic version you can get from a company that'll take that right out of the mix. But if it works, then I'm happy. So right now it's working, so I'm a happy guy. Anyway, I think I'm going to unplug all this stuff here and build myself a little thing for that, so it'll mount right there. Then leave it at that for now. Yeah, there I built a little mount for it. I had a piece of scrap aluminum, 1/4 inch or whatever that is, 3/8 or whatever it is, and I was able to put it on this mount that was holding this thing, right? And then, because there's no more, that's the last of those to go through there, then these two hoses come over here like that. They're out of the way, and the electricity comes from back there, and I've got that, I think, okay. So I never have to go to the back of the motor again. Now, we're hoping that's going to work okay, but, well, what the hell. Anyhow, there it is, mounted and solid. So we'll see how that works out. Yeah, so here I am going to put in new lower, whatever these things are, lower control arms. Got a set of them from this company called Metrix Premium. Comes with ball joints. The bushings are all installed on it, and they sent me a nice key fob. How do you like that, eh? Maybe I'll even use that. Think I will. Okay, I'll get at it. Yeah, they're exactly the same, except for this one has a receiver on it for this control arm, or this, whatever this thing is. Sway bar stuff? Sway bar stuff. So I imagine I can just cut that stuff off there and put it onto that one. that would be acceptable. I think it'd look okay. See if I can get that to switch over. Yeah, there, I got it off the old one. Just had a cut here, here, and here, and then pried it off a bit. So then the new one here, I just slid it on from this end and then squeezed it with a vise. So I'll get a tack weld there and get a tack weld there, and one there and one there, and then I'll take it and weld it good. Yeah, that's welded on there. Actually a pretty nice weld today. Hang on, I'll show you the other side. Yeah, here's the other side. That's even nicer weld. So I'll just give it a dab of paint and then put the ball joint on and install this side. See if it fits. Okay. Yeah, here we go. That's that all assembled and looking good. And we'll see how it works out. Now, I'm going to put something down so I can turn on the camera. It goes up in here. And I'll see if I can fix this so it's better. Yeah, there, that's in and seems to fit okay. Now this part here, I haven't torqued this down yet because it waits until after I get the wheel alignment done to get torqued down. But I did torque that one there, 40 to 53 or somewhere around. I think 40 I put it at. This one here I put it at 65 or 70. And those ones get later 30, I think. This one here just gets to be tight, and it's got a nylock on it. Okay. Yeah, there's that side done. So I'll do the other side tomorrow because it's about 5 o'clock now, so that's enough for today. I'll get my welder out of the way and let the car down. Yeah, I'll just run it up and see if my thing is working. It's been running for what have we got? 3 minutes now, so I'll give it another few minutes. Yeah, it's been running for 8 or 9 minutes at 3.4, and it'll likely go up a little bit more. It's just starting to go up again now. They're waving up and down a bit. So I think that I might have got it, maybe I got it cured that time. I really put a lot of effort into getting it cleaned up inside there on the part where the little dish, like the little dish goes and everything like that. I took a wire brush on the end of my Dremel and cleaned that off so that it was nice and shiny in there. So anyhow, looks like it might have done the trick here. And then I just guessed at where that should have been, because that's where it was when I first started. Now the guys at the Porsche people, they say if you do that mod that I did to it to adjust it, after a few times then it gets loose and it won't ever stay adjusted. So you might have to put a mod on the other side of it to pull it the other way just to make it so it's tight. But for now, I think it's that's 3.4 there, which is what it wants, and I think it's warmed up pretty good. The engine's up to just about operating temperature. Yeah, can you see that? Yep. And oil pressure's up around the middle, so that's good. I think the oil, all the gas evaporated out of the oil that was in there, so it's back to being normal oil. Now I'll just leave that I'll check it again for a few days in a row, take it out for a spin, and then that'll be good. Anyway, that's enough for today, and I'll see you again tomorrow, I hope. Yeah, look at that, it held residual pressure overnight. That's interesting. So it's not all bad. Yeah, there we go. I want to just give it a bit of a zoom in here somehow. Right to there. Anyhow, now I'm going to start the motor and just, you have to tell me what's going on. Yeah, so anyhow, that test up there, still pressure in the system. Don't know what's going on with that for sure, but I'll work into it. Anyway, back to taking off this side of the control arms, right? So I'll do that, and then after that, next I think I'll take the sending unit for the tank out so I can tell how much gas is in it. And in fact, I can look and see. And I've got I ordered up some stuff so I can do electrolysis and clean the rust out of that tank. Now, hopefully I'll be able to do it in the car without taking it out of the car. But if I don't, if I have to, I'll have to remove the transmission, which is, I don't know. It says remove the transmission. Why would you have to remove the transmission? I don't think you have to remove the transmission to get this out of here. I have to move this off the way, but the tank should come down. Anyway, later. And I have to figure out how to adjust the, maybe you can see up here. If I can get a light out here. There's a light. Maybe we can see what's going on up here. Can you see anything in there? How the linkage for the shifter is in there somewhere. Don't know where. Maybe that's it right up there somewhere. How do you get to that? Because it's not, the shifter linkage isn't great. I don't know how to get into it and change stuff. Oh well, I'll figure it out eventually, I guess. Got to be down in there somewhere. Okay. Anyhow, I'll look at the video and see. Yeah, here I go. I'll start taking this stuff apart. Yeah, you were likely yelling at me when I was taking out this wrong one. I'll put that back in. That was smart, right? Yeah, so here's the new one. Whoops. Sitting on top of the old one, and it's pretty well exactly the same. I can't tell if the old one's maybe got a bend to it. Maybe not. Anyhow, but here's where this this thing here goes on. Hang on till I get this lined up right. Yeah, that's lined up about as close as I can tell by looking down these holes to see the where those bolts go through. So this goes right here and right here. So that'd be straight up is right here and right here. That's where this thing here has to come on. Then I'll put a mark on that for the top. Okay. Yeah, so I'll cut this thing off of here. Yeah, so there's the, it's ready to go back on there. And looks like about the same way it came off. That maybe should be pushed in a bit more here, eh? I'll do that. Hang on. Yeah, so this is, I've got it so it fits nicely now. But this side here, see I haven't got that side pressed in yet. This side here, this side, I will just tack it on there. And then tack it there, 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 and there. Then I'll squeeze the other side in. I'll just show you what I'm doing. Hang on until I get you set up here. Yeah, so there you go. That side there is pretty good looking weld. And I'll flip it over. It's hot, so anyway, I'll clean this off. I'll flip it over and I'll show you the other side. Yeah, there it is. That's the other side. So that actually came out pretty nice. The I just pulse welded dot, 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 and then filled in between if I missed anything. And here I just tacked on there and tacked on there. So it looks pretty good. Anyhow, I'll give it a paint, then put the ball joint in and see about installing it. Yeah, there we go. 11mm bolts to hold that on. They send you bolted ones because this can be universal either side. It's just a matter of which way you put the ball joint. So now this is ready to go back on there. 18 foot-pounds is what the book says. Yeah, now these are all like it's all back in. I had to use this strap to pull that over so I can get those in there. See what comes up. Anyhow, this one here gets 40 to 54. I'll put it about 50. This one here gets about 43 pounds. These ones are 30 when I get to it. This one here actually has a reading. It's 11 to 18, but it's just, that's just tight. These ones here I didn't check yet. Now, let's see. I'll go and see what I come up with. Yeah, okay, now, here I am. I'm going to put the wheel back on, number one. Then I'll see if I can set up the caster angle first, which is this angle that goes this way. And Then I'll see if I can set up the camber angle, which is the angle that goes this way. Then I'll have to align the wheels. See how close I can come. Well, we'll see. I guess it passed the leak down test this time because that's well over 20 minutes and it's 1.1. So that's what it's supposed to be, above there or above. But still, now I changed the fuel filter back there. Maybe it's out of gas. Who knows? Yeah, there now I've got that set up, the laser level. Hey, so right, the red line's right on there, and the red line's right on this thing here, and then it's also then down here. Here's the center. Then I measured out to the red line there. I don't know if you can barely see the red line because too much light. What I measured out is 19.2 millimeters, which makes 2.5 degrees, which is exactly what it calls for. Now, I'll try and see what I can do on the other side. Yeah, so this side over here, I can only get it to come to 1 degree, 1.25 degrees. So, I'm going to take the strut out, see if the strut is bent. Maybe the strut is bent. And that's causing my grief. So I'll pull that strut out of there and have a look, and could be that. And if it is, I'll sort it out. Yeah, I couldn't find anything, can't see anything wrong with that strut. Going this way. I don't know, is there a little bend at the bottom here? I don't think so. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the strut from this side to that side. And then that'll tell me if it's the strut that's wrong. If it's the strut that's wrong, I'll have to get a new one. Yeah, so changing the strut didn't make any difference. So the strut is straight, as far as I can tell. And, well, I'll check the other side there and make sure it's not supposed to be crooked. Yeah, the silly thing's still holding pressure a couple hours later. So it's off and on again, being right and wrong, that thing there. But I think I have to clean the fuel tank out, and then maybe put a bit more fuel in it. But that'll be the next thing I do, is after I finish pondering these wheels. So now this side here is unchanged; it's in the right direction. That side there, I can only get it like 1.5 degrees instead of 2.5. Now, one solution I can think of is to pull this back here. That would mean cutting that. I don't think that's a good solution. I think that's something, that's kind of radical, right? But I'll think about it for a while and see what we can come up with. Something is, well, I can't see where the body's bent, but the body is bent. So, there you go. Something got bent in it, but I'll just have to remember I can't go racing with this car. Okay. Anyhow, that's all for now. Yeah, so anyhow, that's enough for today. I've got Sunday, I got an invite to dinner, so away I go to dinner. Yeah, so here I am back at the 924. Now today I've determined that the struts are fine, so I'm going to take and change them back to the way that they're supposed to be. This one is supposed to be on that side. Then I will, there's no harm in pushing this a little bit back. Maybe I'll get 6 or 8 millimeters out of it, and that might be enough to bring it up to 1 degree. So if it's wrong, I can always push it back to where it's supposed to be. That's not going to be a big deal. So what I'll do, when I drop this out, I'll just elongate those holes a little bit this way, so that the whole thing will move that way a tiny bit. But in the meantime, I'm going to, I've taken in underneath here, there's like a filter in there that I couldn't tell if it was blocked or not, so I took the filter right out of there, a little screen thing. And that's one of the places where there can be some blockages. So maybe that'll sort out some of my pressure issues. I'll turn the camera on up here and start the car and see what happens. Yeah, here I go. Yeah, there it's running now, and it's running now, and I had it set to 1.2 for the bottom pressure here for the cold. That thing there, I took the that thing being the warm-up regulator, and underneath this one there's a spring or a screen. So I took that screen out of it. Then I had to go and take the whole thing apart and sort of clean out anything, a little bit of green debris in there. Now I'm trying it out, see if it's going to run. Seems to be coming up. The warming up. Give it a, well, it's 12:57, so I'll give it 5 minutes. Yeah, I think I was talking to nothing there. So anyway, it's up to 2.6 now, and it's been like that for about 5 minutes. The fan hasn't blown here yet, so when the fan blows, then I'll know the engine is up to temperature and everything should be warmed up all right. Then I'll adjust that, bring this up. It's holding rock steady here, which I haven't ever seen that happen for a long time. So I think that, who knows? Like, I'll just give it a few days. But after taking that screen out of there, now you can get new screens. You can get, I think you can get there's a guy on the internet that's pretty good with these WURs and this whole system. He works on Volkswagen Rabbits. What's his name? Grey Goose. Yeah, look up Grey Goose, but I'll put a link in here. And I think he sells these bolts with a screen in them. I'm not really sure, but the screen that I took, when I took the screen out, it wouldn't, the little frame of it wouldn't come out, so it's all the screen bits came out, but not the frame. So maybe I'll get one from him, and that would go in there. And I don't have the screens for in underneath these too, so maybe he has those. Well, we'll find out. It seems to be warmed up pretty good now. I'll check the temperature gauge. Yeah, temperature gauge is close to the middle. The fan hasn't blown yet, but I'm pretty sure that's as warm as it's going to get. Anyway, so I'll adjust that a little bit to bring this. I want to bring this up to 3.4 to 3.8. I'll bring it up to 3.4 if I can. Yeah, now I've turned that a bunch and nothing changed. So I'm going to let everything cool down. I'm going to put that spacer underneath the spring in there and start from the beginning again and see if I can make it come right to the right temperatures. Anyhow, but this I'll give it a cool down test. I think it's holding pressure pretty good. So I'll, in the meantime, while it's cooling down, I'll change these struts around. Yeah, there it's after 20 minutes there, and it's still 1.246, and it started at a low pressure, so that's good. Yeah, there I've moved this back just slightly, like that's maybe 8 millimeters back or something like that, and it made the difference of making the camber or the caster to, I got it to 1.5 degrees. Should be at a minimum of 2 degrees, but you know, that's as close as I can come without, you know, cutting into this, and I don't want to cut into that. So I'm going to make that side over there. Then the difference between the two should be 0.5 degree at the most. That one there I'm going to make at 2 degrees, and that'll be 0.5 degree between the two of them. This one here will be below tolerance, but that one there will be within tolerance. Anyway, that's what I'll do and see how it feels on the road. Then I'll see if I can get the camber, the camber set right on here, and then I'll align it, and then I'll check it again and see how things look. Yeah, so now I've got this wheel here set to 2 degrees. That wheel over there is 1.5 degrees, and you know, book says 30 minutes between them, but this one here should be 2 degrees 30 minutes or something like that. What's it say? This one here says 2 degrees 45 minutes plus or minus 30 minutes. So I've got it down to 2 degrees, which is, you know, 15 minutes off of that. So 15 minutes shy. This one's 30 minutes less than it on the other side. So it's, you know, close to being okay. But now I'll go ahead and I'll set the camber on them, and then align it, and then I'll check it once more. Yeah, now I've got both the wheels set to a 1/2 degree camber, and that one there, this one here is right at the limit of its setting. That one there is easy to set. So this side here is something bent out of shape, eh? Don't know that I can never do anything about that. Anyway, I'll set the alignment and then we'll go from there. Yeah, there. So I've got a thread going along here, and I got my laser going down this side, and then I also put a level on the steering wheel so it'll come back to the same place every time, right? Because when you move them a little bit, they move. So then I adjusted this wheel to the steering wheel being straight, and this wheel is straight. I adjusted, same thing, this wheel is straight. So the alignment is set on it. Now, it says the alignment should be 0 plus or minus 15, 5 to 15 degrees, 5 to 15 minutes. So I've got it set to 0, so that's going to be where it is. And it also says toe end pressed with 33 pounds. Toe pressed, so just, you know, barely touching on the, I just put it down off the lift to barely touch there. So who knows, should be okay. I'll just let it down all the way and then check the numbers on this side here again. Okay, there we go. So when it's sitting flat on the ground, it's got about 1 millimeter of toe in, which is fine. It can have that. We won't worry about it. Anyhow, that's the alignment done. Now it's pretty near quitting time, so on to the back on the warm-up regulator tomorrow, and I'll see if I can get. Well, I'll put the my washer back underneath, my spacer back underneath the spring. See if that'll come back to proper levels. Very difficult, that thing, some days. Oh well, I'll wrap up my ribbon, my little thread, and that'll be that. Yeah, so now I've put that little spacer in underneath the spring in there, and set it up with like just with the pump running. Now I'll see if it'll start, and maybe I'll get something going on. Yeah, so, and yeah, Bill, welcome back again, right? More and more working on fuel systems for the Porsche. See if today is any better than any other day. We don't know. I'll just hop in here and just see what happens. Oh, it is a chore getting into this car. That's sure there's my level on the steering wheel. Forgot about that. Put it right there. Okay. So it starts right up without any trouble at all. When the proper fuel pressure's on it, right? Pretty low. So to get higher, you have to pull on that. I'll wait till it warms up and see what happens. Or maybe not. Yeah, so I gave that bolt a couple of turns. Now it's starting to come up now. I'll see how long it takes for it to steady out. 11:31, so see what it gets up to for running temperature, for running. They're starting to be happier running now. So likely if I get it to start at about 1.6 or something like that, it's a happier motor. I didn't check the temperature on that thing. It was about 19 degrees, 18 degrees. Anyway, watching the paint dry. Oh, there you go. It's up at 3.6 now, and 3.65 or something. And it's been running for 11:37. So what's that? 6 minutes, 7 minutes. I'll wait till the temperature comes up, and then I'll see what happens. Yeah, there's hanging right at 4 bar now, and should be about 3.8. So I'm gonna let it run for a little bit more and see if that comes up some more before I do anything. Yeah, it's headed tulip steady at 4.1 for quite a while. I'll see if I can make it come down to 3.8. Yeah, there it's going 3.5 now, and it's been running for a while and staying pretty steady there. That's with the shim underneath the spring there, give it a little bit more springiness. Okay, well the next thing I'm going to do is dig into the gas tank and see if I can figure out how to make the gas gauge work. Yeah, it's staying pretty steady, so I'll just leave it be. Yeah, so I'm underneath the car, right? You can see me. Anyhow, so I did some measuring here. So from right here, that point there, I measured across to the center of that bolt right there. Then from the same point on this side, I measured across to the center of that bolt right there, and they're exactly the same. So I thought, well, shit, I better just measure. So I measured from just on, like from the ball joint to the same point back there, and from the ball joint on that side to the same point back there. They're exactly the same, you know, within as close as I can measure. So I measured from here, that bolt across, and from that bolt across, and they're all exactly the same. So the frame is square, so how come is this one here so tough to get right? Did it come out of the factory that way? I don't think so, and I think it got bent, but it's what's bent? I can't find what's bent. Can't even, like, you can't see any obvious damage. Like this thing here, somebody putting a lift on there, but they did the same on the other side. But I don't see any obvious damage anywhere. So, I don't know. I guess I'll just live with it and see how it goes. Who knows how it'll go. There you go. Anyhow, that's that story. Yeah, it starts up okay, but then the fuel pressure is very low until it starts, like it's supposed to be here for starting, but it's way down here, but it starts. So I just have to let it warm up for a little while and then see how it sits. Anyway, here's more paint drying. Yeah, once it starts rising, then it settles out to idle and gets back to normal-ish. Now I'll see if it'll go up to pressure. And running for all 2 minutes now, so I'll give it another 5. So 6 minutes it gets to 3, and then I'll wait and see how it gets up higher. Yeah, there's 10 minutes and it's up to 3.3 maybe. Don't know if it's going to go much higher or not. We'll wait and see. Yeah, there's about 14 minutes, it's up to 3.4. So I'll let it run for a bit more. I'm not going to change anything today, but I think it came to here last time I was running it. It stayed about there. Got up to 3.5 maybe. I could raise it a bit here, and that would give it a bit more for the cold start. And that would be okay. But I'll wait. I want to get see if it gets the same reading again tomorrow sometime. Yeah, it's running about 20-25 minutes now. It's moved up to 4.6 a little bit fast. So I'll let that. I have to take it for a ride and drive and just see if I can get a different reading. I think last time I took it for a drive, then all of a sudden it was at 4.2 or something. But we'll just live with it the way it is right there. So it's pretty steady the last 10 minutes at this 4.7, say, or 3.7. So I'm going to just shut it off, and I'll run it again tomorrow for a half hour and see what it comes up to. Yeah, so that's all for today. I'll come back again tomorrow, I hope. And I'll see you then. Bye for now. Yeah, hello again, and here I am back at the 924 Porsche, 1979. So anyhow, now in the delivery yesterday was one of these things, which is a one-way valve, to see if I can sort out where the problem is on this fuel pressure retention thing. Anyway, so I'll put this in, then I'm going to start it up, and I'll see how things work out on the pressure gauge. If it comes up to normal-ish, then I'll be and stays at normal-ish, then that's three times in a row, and that would be okay with me. So I'll just get it up in the air. I'll put this little thing on into the fuel line. I'll show you where, and then go from there. Yeah, there we go. So can you see anything up here? Here's the fuel pump, right? And then it has there's a stop thing right on there, one-way valve. But that thing's 40 years old. I imagine it might not be just 100%. So I put this new one right in line here, pointing that way, and there's what I'll call a lift pump here, which is just a little fuel pump. This is the tank right here. I put a filter on here because there's yuck in the tank, and this filter will catch the big bits. Then it goes into this little pump here, which I've got mounted. Originally, the car had a pump inside the tank right here, but that's long gone. Then they say it'll run fine with just the normal thing, the normal fuel pump, which is this one, except if you get into hot weather, then you'll get some problems. So I hooked up a secondary pump here, which is just sort of a lift pump out of here to give this one constant pressure. Now it goes through this thing here, which is the one-way valve, and then this is, what do they call that thing? Oh, it's a pressure regulator thing anyhow. And then from there it goes up to the front of the car and into the filter, and on and on and on. So I'll just check it out and see if this is going to work, and we'll let you know. Yeah, so it starts up right away, but the initial pressure is, it thinks it's 40 below, right? So it runs a bit rich for starters. So we'll let that thing warm up a bit, and then maybe it'll be okay. So rough idle, you just have to wait for it to warm up. Anyway, it's starting to rise a little bit now, maybe. No, not yet, but it will. Yeah, there, it's like 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock was when I started, or 1:59. But it's starting to rise up now, and it's starting to smooth out the idle a bit. Once it gets up about here, it gets a fairly smooth idle for the cold. But the way it is, the starting pressure on it is pretty low. But if it comes up and has a running pressure at the right size, I'll be happy with it for now until I think about it some more. Yeah, again, once it gets up around 2, 2.5 or 2.2 right there, the idle smooths out pretty nicely and sounds like it should sound. So you just have to be patient with it warming up a bit. Yeah, so about 20 minutes of running, and here's at 3.4, and then it'll get up to 3.5 or 3.6 here soon. And then I'll do a leak down test and see if it's solved my leak down problem. I don't think it's leaking at the back. I better check that first. See if there's any dripping on the floor. Noisy back here with that fuel pump. It looks like there's nothing dripping, so should be good. This sounds good though. And then if you're, the old test is to put a piece of white paper towel on there, right? Here's, I don't know if you've ever done this, but clean piece of paper towel, white. Wow, fairly clean. There's some dirt on it. Well, we'll just see if you hold it up here. If it's running rich, then it'll show like dark on there. But that's clean, just as clean as it was when it started. So it's running pretty nice and clean. Now the other way, there's actually like a test for it where you put a thing in the exhaust pipe. But don't have that testing equipment here. So it's up to 3.5 now. So it seems to be consistent. Yesterday and today, yay. So I'm going to take all this apparatus off, but first I'll do the leak down test. See if it passes that. If it doesn't pass that, I'll leave this apparatus on for a little while longer till I sort that out. But if it passes that, then I'll pull this stuff off of here and let it go for a while and just see how it runs, see how it works. Yeah, so when you shut it off, it drops down to 2.4, and after 10 minutes it's supposed to be holding at 1.2 or something, or 1.3. I'll look it up. Yeah, there, it seems to have failed the leak down test fairly miserably. Now that will affect the hot start, I think. So if I leave it about 15 minutes and then see if it'll start. There's 5 minutes gone by. I'll leave it about 15 minutes, see if it starts, and then we'll decide whether it's a problem or not. Yeah, so it's down to just above 0 already there. Don't know where it's losing pressure from, but it's losing pressure from somewhere. I'll think about it. I'll do some research on that. So far, I'm happy with the pressure control regulator. It seems to be stabilized. The pressure is stabilized, so that's good. Yeah, so here's the fuel gauge stuff. So anyhow, now you got a yellow and black, and this is like purple and black, but this one here goes to the fuel gauge, and a ground. So the if you cross this to this, the fuel gauge comes to full. You cross this to this, and the little light that says you're out of fuel comes on. So I'll pull this out of here and just see if I can find an answer. So all the wiring works. It's just a matter of why it isn't working in there, which I'm pretty sure is all full of rust and corruption, and we'll just find out. Yeah, so now I've pulled out the sending unit, which sits in this hole right here, and it's got a there is a little marker there. Now in the book they talk about a sending unit that you turn like on a top of a fuel barrel, but this one here just has these bolts holding it in, which must be a newer model from some other year. I don't know. Now I can't find my electrical tester because here's the thing, and I'll see if I can figure it out. There's my electrical tester there. I don't know how come it's over there. Okay. Yeah, that's that noisy thing. Anyway, what will I do? I'll turn it this way. I've got that fuel sending unit in the vibrating cleaner See if it helps it any. It's not working at all now, so I can't really make it any much worse. There we go. Whoops, there you go. I spent the afternoon. This is the fuel sending unit, and it's supposed to go up and down like this, which it was not doing. There's 3 little wires there that are important. I think this one here is the one that gives you the regulation for the fuel gauge, and these 2 here, when this comes down and hits those 2 buttons, it grounds across those 2 wires and makes the little light come on. Now, don't know if it's working right yet, but it's going. It wasn't going. It was stuck right here because it's all corroded. So this goes over the outside of it. This goes on the bottom of it, a little plate, and that thing there, and that lets fuel drain out of it. Methinks, yeah. And then, so I'll put it. I'll check it out and see if it actually works with a meter. And there's an area here that this wire is fairly corroded, so I'm going to try and fix that. I don't know, can you see those wires? Maybe if I'm right behind it like that. You see there's 1 wire here, and then there's 2 wires, 1 on each side. They're just about invisible because it's so, there you can sort of see them. One's by the 31 by the 1 there. Whoops. And the other one is over by my thumb. Anyway, that's 3 wires, and then 1 strike behind there you can see. So I'll clean it up a bit more, and then I'll get back to you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Here it is put back together, and you can hear the thing moving in there. So let's just give it a test. There's some testing for it here on my computer. I'll just have a look here. Must be in the other book. Hang on. Yeah, I found some testing procedures, but I wasn't getting what it says here, but it's slightly different, this fuel thing, than the one that's shown on there, I think. So I'm going to put it in the tank and see what happens. It's got about 1/3 of a tank of fuel there, so it should, maybe it'll show something on the gauge. Maybe it'll show nothing on the gauge, but that's okay. This is where it goes. There's a little notch in the tank right there that corresponds with this little notch right here. And it just drops in. Kind of a, you have to sort of work at it to get it in there, but it does go in. That's exactly the same way it came out, so that's okay. It'll take it a minute for it to fill up with fuel, because that's what it takes. I'll put these in, and then I'll hook it up, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, there, the low fuel light is on. Plus, it also shows whatever's on there down to close to the empty, but not at empty. So that's encouraging. I don't know if it'll ever change them for that, but we have a little bit of fuel in it anyhow. There you go. Yeah, so most of the day was around the fuel thing there and running the car. Now, I didn't ever get this off of here, so maybe I'll do that. 5:55. Yeah, it's time to go in for supper, so I'll do that tomorrow. I'll pull that off and then run the car and see how it runs and go from there. The other thing I did today was this signal light here wasn't working properly, so it's working properly now. I had to change the wires, connectors. Connectors. So, see you tomorrow, I hope. Bye for now. Yeah, so the wind was blowing pretty good last night. It blew the top off of this. It just ripped every grommet out of the other side, but I think I can repair that. I will try and repair it and get it back up. This one here is still holding pretty good because it's got, the ends are tied up. The end wasn't tied up, so it zoomed. Anyway, I'll think about that a bit and get it out of there. And this is still sitting right here. But wind and rain. That gray one's still standing. Yeah, it's a good sign. And it's dark in here. Oh, look at that. There's a Porsche 924 right here. That's pretty good. I'm happy with this guy. So I'm going to start it up. see that I get another day of consistency out of it, and then I will take that stuff off there as long as everything works right. Anyhow, that's a good start for the day. Yeah, so I did a bit of ciphering on this thing here. Now, the fuel thing in the back of the car from these pictures. Anyway, when I put this measuring stick in, the top of the thing was at 27 millimeters, 270 millimeters, and the fuel was up to 8 millimeters. The part that's inside itself is about this long, so it's hanging into the fuel by just 5, 6, 10, 20, 30 millimeters, which would be low. That's right. So that's good. So if I put more fuel in it, it might even show a sign. But I'm not going to do that yet because I've got some gear coming that I'm going to try and do some electrolysis on the fuel tank. Can't see anything now because I got it covered. Anyway, but I'll get that done. Anyway, I'm going to start it up and see how things work out here. Yeah, here's the same thing today. Pretty low on the fuel pressure. It should be up a bit higher, but I'll let it sputter away for a bit. And if it'll keep on sputtering there and not stop. But I got to show you my white piece of paper towel when it's running rich like this. You can smell the carbon. Look at that. So when it's running rich, you get all that black on the paper towel. It'll start coming around. See, now it's starting to go up a bit, so it'll get sorted out, and then I'll do that, show you the paper towel after it's all cleaned up. Yeah, it's been running about 25 minutes. It's running about 25 minutes now, and it's up to 3.2. It'll likely get up to about 3.5. I hope. We'll just see what happens. There, it's up at 3.4 now. It seems to be consistent with the last couple of days here, so I'm going to say it's okay. I'll just show you how now it should be running pretty clean. If I put the paper towel up against there, see that? No dirt, running clean. All the hydrocarbons are burned, we hope. Anyway, that's my story and I'm going to stick to it. So I'll let it run for another couple of minutes and just see what happens. Yeah, so I'm going to declare the warm-up regulator as a working unit. Even though it is pretty low at the low end, we'll think about that for a while. Yeah, so quite a while ago I got this thing for here because it doesn't have one, right? So better check it, make sure that the release works before I do anything there. That's clamped down. See if that'll. Well, just see. You guys watch and see what happens here. If this thing releases. Pulling the lever. Yeah, that seems to work. So I guess I'll install it and see how things work when I close the hood. Yeah, there I've removed all the pressure gear. This thing here is on. I don't know if it'll work or not. We'll find out soon. Maybe we'll find out right now. I'll just give it a go and see. It might be hooked. Might be pointing the right way. It might not be. How's that? Yeah, let's see. Now my stick needs a bit of help. But I'll get to that. Let's see if this is going to line up. Here, no, not quite. Need my stick. I'll see about getting that lined up. Yeah, it's closed and down, but it's way up over here. I think that's adjustable on there, I hope. We'll just check it out. Bring that down a bit. This side here, a little bit high on there. See if I can bring that down a bit. This corner here is good. This part here is okay. Just that side is high. Okay. I'll see what I can come up. See if I can adjust that a bit. Yeah, there, that was a bit disappointing. So I closed it and it hooked itself on this lip down here and wouldn't open again. Don't you know? So I tried unscrewing these from down below, which I was able to get to one of them, but I couldn't get the other one. Eventually I was able to hook a rope around. I put a wire through and got it around this part here. Then I followed through the rope and I pulled it way over to that side and yanked on it a couple of times and it popped free. So that's good. I'm not the first guy to have that problem because I can see it's all been used up pretty good here before. Anyway, I'm going to see about, I'll make these holes for adjusting a little bit bigger that way so it'll move over this way a bit and won't jam. Yeah, now it opens and closes all right. So, but for a while I'm going to just cut a piece of rope off and leave it right here so I can hook it with something and pull on that thing if I need to, because that's a dangerous situation there, getting that thing closed all the way and never opening again. Anyway, that'll be, this piece of rope will go on there. Yeah, there now. I've got it so it closes pretty close to right. I think there's a bunch of Bondo underneath here that has to go, because here it's nice, and it comes high here. I'll find out what kind of Bondo is on there. I'll dig into it. Huh. Then this side here needs to come down. See if I can get that hinge to come down a bit more. Yeah, so I've been doing a few things that are not remarkable. Anyway, I tried to adjust the hood as best I could, but it's a little bit high on this side. Maybe I can show you that. Hang on. But I did a little bit of progress here. I've got this hood holder upper back into place with a rubber grommet there, and I did some adjusting on the headlights. But I'm not much better than they were before. They're going to take more work. This whole front end the alignment is poor on it. So anyhow, I'll show you this the engine bonnet business. It goes up and down. There's that thing there, this thing that clips up out of the way. And down it goes. And along here is okay. And that side there is not exceptional, but it's reasonable. I can live with that. This side over here has got a high to it. And you can see there's a bend in the hood right here. Now, I don't know how to get that out of there, if it is possible at all. I've got this down as far as I can get it, which is really pretty close to the edge, but this part here is still high. Now imagine if I put a bit more spacer on this side here, that would lift that side, so I'll do that. But anyhow, I'll show you that maybe it'll come back up. Well, wait a minute and I'll show you. Wait a second, I'll just get you set up again here. Might get the hood to come back up. Yeah, there. Likely the reason it's bent is because somebody pulled on this one time or did something like that, bent it over, so that's how it is for now. I'll think about it a bit more before I get all excited about it. Like, it could use a bit more spacer here. This is somebody's whoops, home built thing there. Whoops. Not the right thing. And it's supposed to look like this here, but oh well. Anyhow, that's now the next thing on my little list. There's a bunch of list of little things. One of the things is this right here. This pulley here should have a stud instead of a bolt, so I'm going to see what I can do about that. Yeah, so I just ran a tap into it to make sure that it's going to be clean threads. 10 by 1.5, M10 1.5. Now I'll get it out of here. And then I've got a, where did I put it? Here. I got a M10 1.5 threaded bolt here that I'm just going to cut to the right size. Okay. Yeah, here I am. It's end of the day on Thursday today, I think. Eh? So I think I'll close this video off here. I did a bunch of tinkering around this week. I did get this on. It hasn't changed the angle that it's at, so it's still pulling the belt over a little bit. Well, anyway, we'll just see. I think that I should get one of these. This is Chinese. I should get one of these from Germany. I'll see what's available, and then because that I don't think that's right. Anyway, carry on here, and I should get a proper stud for it too, because that stud's not quite right. Anyway, the things went well. The fuel system seems to be okay now. Everything pressures up and it seems to be fine. I did some working around on some of the lights. What else did I do? Don't even remember. Lots of time on the fuel system and some time on getting this hood so it would latch. I've got the latch installed and the hood latches and goes down, fixed up the little grommet over there. But you see how it lies like across like that when it's open? It's just too heavy on this side. It should have a holder on both sides, or maybe a spring-loaded thing like the back window has. Anyhow, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so hope you enjoyed it all. Stick around, you'll see what happened. And was I working on the suspension? Yeah, and I worked on getting the wheels aligned properly and everything like that. So yeah, quite a bit done. Okay, talk to you later. Yeah, little guy there got mad at me. And gone. Oh no, there he is right there again. Now Buster, make sure he disappears. Oh, there he is, come back up to say hello. Anyway, that's squirrel for the day. Yeah, every day I come by and he's here chewing away on stuff. There he is. Little squirrel. Yeah, December 20th. No, not a sign of snow anyway. It's been raining and warm here the last couple of days. Now, tomorrow, things will change. By Friday, there might be a couple inches of snow on the ground here, or 3 or 4. We'll just see. Anyhow, but right now, it's a nice day out, no wind. Everything's calm. Squirrels in the trees. I don't know if you can hear that or not. And tide is sort of outish. but a grim day. And the doggies hunting for something. We don't know what. There you go.